Hi, welcome to day one of Declutter Your Finances. I'm Linda, the Money Mentalist, your host. So, by now, you will have obviously got your email, you've seen your little workbook, and what we're going to be talking about, first of all, today is actually acknowledging some of the dumb stuff that we have done with money. And more importantly than that, is actually forgiving ourselves about it. Now, why is this such an important thing to do? Well, first of all, we tend to focus on the negative, don't we? We're really good at beating ourselves up if we have that extra piece of dessert or we don't quite get the exercise in for the day that we were planning to do. So we're really good at doing that with our money as well. And we will look back and we'll go, oh, I should never have done that. You're probably really familiar with what we call buyer's remorse. You know, you go shopping and you take something home and then you look at it 24 hours later. And guys, it's not just us girls who do that. You do it as well. Maybe just not with clothes. And we look at it and we go, oh, I really shouldn't have bought that. Can I return it? And we beat ourselves up. Now, what happens is these things pile up over the years, and we start to feel worse and worse and worse about the decisions we've made about money. And from there, we start to feel incapable. We start to go, I can never get this right. I've made so many mistakes. I'm absolutely hopeless. How can I get myself out of this? And they just keep piling on and they keep piling on, and your financial anxiety increases. So if you're waking up at 1 or 2 in the morning, which seems to be the financial anxiety wake up time, and your stomach's churning and you're thinking about the money that you spent in the last few weeks, the last few months, or even the last few years, then this exercise is designed for you because we've got to clear all that negativity from your mindset. Now, in your workbook there, I've suggested, no more than 15 or 30 minutes, because if I let you go on much longer than that, you'll need a whole box of tissues to get through this exercise. So think about the main things that you feel that you have that have been really dumb about money. So to give you a couple of examples to kick it off, let's look at Linda, the pre-money mentalist, and some of the dumb things I've done with money that I actually had on my list. Now, one of them would be, and I actually was a repeat offender about this. I didn't do it just once. I think I did it 4 times. I would impulse buy a car. Yes, you did hear me right. I impulse bought a car. The first one, I liked the colour and I liked the stereo. So I decided if I could drive it off the lot that day, I would. I couldn't afford it, but I bought it anyway. So that was one. And it kind of escalated to the final impulse buy of a car was an Alpha Spider convertible. Now, if you like cars, I'm sure you're going, it was probably a pretty good decision. It was an amazing car, very dumb decision. I absolutely loved that car, but it was still a bad financial decision. So that was definitely on my list of dumb decisions, probably fairly high up there. Now, you may not have big, huge $50,000 dumb things that you've done with money. Yours can be a lot smaller, and it's going to depend on your money personality. What for you feel is a dumb decision. Now, us spenders, of which I am one, we will probably be able to write 3 or 4 pages of money dumb decisions in 30 minutes because we tend to beat ourselves up a bit more than some of the other personalities. Those of you who are the money hoarders, you may struggle a little bit with this exercise because you've probably done so much research. You'll be sitting there going, I've never made a dumb decision with money because I do all the research first. So this exercise will probably be a little bit more difficult for you, but I'm sure if you think really hard, or if you have a partner and you ask them, I'm sure they'll be able to come up with a few things that you've done that's been done with money. So don't hold back. I really do want you to get some of these things out. It might even be something, it might even be just a $20 dumb decision that you did yesterday, whatever it is. Just get it out, get it down on paper. Now, the reason that we do this is because when we just think about some worst outcomes, they grow. They grow and they grow and they grow. When you actually get them down on paper and you look at it from your adult eyes or your more rational eyes, not your emotional eyes, you can actually look at it and go, but yes, that was a dumb decision, but I'm still here. I survived that. I got through that. And that's what we want to do. I don't want you sitting there catastrophizing all of these bad decisions. Now, you may have seen I can actually quite calmly talk about a 50,000 dumb decision buying a car. At the time, it caused me huge strife. But I forgave myself for that decision. I can't turn back the clock. I can't change that decision. All I can do is acknowledge that I've done it, give myself a pat on the back for realizing that I had done it and actually getting rid of the car eventually, and then being able to move on from that. And that's the second part of the exercise. So the first part of it is get it all out, get it out of your system. The second part, which is just, if not more so important, is actually the forgiveness and just looking at it and going, it's done, it's over, I can't change the past, but I can do things differently in the future. And that's why you need to do the second part of the exercise, which is about the forgiveness. Now, you may actually find that it's easier to write the dumb stuff than it actually is to do the forgiveness. Particularly, I think, we tend to have that kind of stiff upper lip, isn't it? And we just don't like doing that. But if you need to give yourself a hug or a pat on the back or whatever you need to do, really genuinely from deep inside, forgive yourself for dumb stuff. That will clear some of the clutter from your head to move forward. So, in terms of financial anxiety, why is this an important exercise? Well, again, we churn, we absolutely churn. And that's the stuff that keeps us awake. It's like, if I hadn't have done this, I could have done that. Well, you can't. You've done it. It's over. You can't change it. So stop worrying about it. And that will help keep your past anxiety from coming up and biting you in the bum. And that's what we want to do. We want to start clearing the clutter. Clearing bad decisions that we've made in the past is the very first step in doing that. So get your pen and paper out, start furiously writing, and then do the second part of it, and everything that you've got on that list, come up with a statement. I don't know what it might be. It's whatever feels right for you that actually forgives you for whatever it is that you've done. Take time over this one. You might get part of it done now. You can always come back to it at the end of the challenge if you want to, but don't skip this step. Now, one other thing that you might like to do, and this actually is something that my business coach had me do, and he actually said, think about what is the absolute worst outcome that you could possibly have right now. If the whole world collapsed around you, what would be the absolute worst case scenario for you? Like, for example, where would you be living? What would you be doing? All of those sorts of things. Because once you actually write down and understand for you what your worst case scenario is, you can then start to look forward and push that away in your mind and go, well, if that's the worst, I never, ever want to go there. And you can start moving yourself forward to what's your best outcome and where you want to go. So we're going to start moving you forward tomorrow and start you working on what your best case scenario is and where you want to go. So this is the only time we're going to look backwards. Make the most of it. Do it. Have a bit of a laugh too about some of the bad decisions that you might have made, and just don't beat yourself up. You're only allowed to beat yourself up for 2 seconds for each item you have on that list. Just get it over, get it done with, and then burn the piece of paper, freeze it, shred it, whatever you need to do. Get it out of your head. It's done. Okay. If you get stuck, remember you can always book a time with me to have a chat. That will be in the link below directly to my calendar. I'm here to support, help you. Email questions to me as well if you need to. Now, go forth, get this exercise done. Another challenge for you tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye.